Hey, 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 happy holidays. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, shockingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, December 7th, 2023. This is live stream number 996. If you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out, super casual around here. We just hang out talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then normally we'll take a first look at a game, be it a board game, maybe a role-playing game. Every blue moon or so, I'll share a live review. But for the most part, we take first looks at games and take a peek at the latest in tabletop gaming news. So tonight, I've got news and I've got a first look. That's right, we are going to take a look at Age of Wonders Planetfall from Arcane Wonders and Hobby World. So this, obviously enough, is based on the hit video game, and we'll be taking a peek inside in just a bit. I do believe this is a card game, or at least a card-based game, because this box is fairly light. So that is coming up in just a bit. Of course, once again, if you're not overly familiar with the show, we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So it'll be probably about 35, maybe 40 minutes before we get into that first look at Age of Wonders Planetfall. So if you're hanging out for the first time, kick back, relax, put your feet up, enjoy yourself. As our friend the Madman likes to say, it's Friday Eve. But of course, if you're watching this 30 minutes or more after the show has ended, there will be timestamps. So if you're an impatient type, patience is a virtue, you know. But if you don't have that virtue and you really got to get to that first look, you'll be able to do so. Those timestamps are located in the show notes, and depending on the device you might be watching this on, could be right there in the timeline of the video. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, because this is a live show, there is also chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours before you can take part in chat. Yet another way I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you've got a question, a comment, fire away. Maybe there's something about Age of Wonders Planetfall you want a closer look at. Just ask. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend, the Madman, hailing from the Detroit area. Good to see you, and Flaming Huron is with us. So both of, I should say, two of our three chat moderators are first out the gate tonight. And I would not be surprised if Miss Sarah D is with us as well, lurking in the shadows. Yes. trying to remember the other line from The Shadow. It's not what evil lurks in the hearts of men. I know that one. It's the other one. It's I don't know. I'm trying to remember if it's the weed of crime bears bitter fruit. But I don't think it's weed. But it is it's like, okay. Anyway, who knows? Maybe Sarah's hanging out. Maybe she's not. But if she is, howdy, howdy. All right. Anyway, should mention today marks the 82nd anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. That's right. It is December 7th, a day which has lived in infamy. And I think it's relatively infamous how many people out there I don't want to say they don't realize that this is Pearl Harbor Day. I'm talking Americans, obviously. People outside America, outside the United States. Yeah, if they don't care, that's fine. But there are far too many Americans who simply don't give a rat's ass that this is Pearl Harbor Day because, as far as they're concerned, if history took place before they were born, well, who cares? Doesn't matter to me. You know, those tend to be some of the stupider fucking people I encounter in this world. You don't realize that the past is prologue. Everything we are as a society is built upon what came before. It wasn't just all of a sudden, oh, hey. Well, Frank was born today. I guess we can get the world started. Sarah D says she always watches Tora on this day. Great movie. Well, thank goodness you're not watching Pearl Harbor. And some of those zeros in Pearl Harbor would put TIE fighters to shame. Just an awful film. Just all around bad. Special effects were decent, though, except for the Starfighter Zeros. Made absolutely no sense. Anywho, we look like chat might be a little quieter than usual tonight. That's okay. But we do have all three of our chat moderators. So they will be on the lookout in case they have to wield those band hammers. So it's also the first day of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to those of you out there who celebrate. Yes, the holiday season is kicking into swing. So let's jump on into the news because I've got a nice mix tonight. Landing in stores next month is Draft and Write Records. Here's the latest from Inside Up Games. Do you have what it takes to hit the big time? Can you take your band from the garage to the world's most famous concert venues? Draft and arrange your lead singer, musicians, production staff, and backstage staff. Create harmony, unlocking more fans, money, and opportunities. Plan your schedule, prioritize your assets, and map out your tour route to chain bonus rewards and leave your fans screaming for more. Will your music rocket to the top of the charts, landing your band in the #1 spot? Or will the pressure of stardom prove to be too much? Draft and Write Records is for 1 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $33 when it arrives in stores on January 5th. Should mention there are 2 mini expansions that are also going to be arriving on that date, which I believe each of them add some additional cards that you can swap out of the core game. I think it just kind of changes the theming a little bit. But I gotta say, this looked kind of interesting. So it's not a roll and write game. It is a card drafting and writing game. So there is that. So, also like the art style, looks pretty cool. This could be a fun game. So I thought I would share it with you. So Flaming Heron says, sorry, that is history before someone says I misquoted it. Oh, Flaming Heron says, if we don't learn from the past, we are doomed to repeat it. Isn't that sometimes attributed to Robert E. Lee? I know we have, it is good that war is so horrible, I think it is. It's paraphrasing, right? It's good that war is so horrible, lest we grow too fond of it. Jambalaya is with us. Howdy, welcome aboard. I believe this might be a first-time visit from them here in chat. So they're pointing out very good artwork with this game. I agree. That was one of the things that kind of caught my eye as far as sharing the news piece. So there we go. It's coming out next month. Let's talk about some role-playing game news because there was a big release hitting Kickstarter. Well, I shouldn't say Kickstarter. It's backer kit. Now that I think about it. Earlier today, it has exploded. And yes, Matt Colville launched a crowdfunding project to bring a brand new fantasy role-playing game to market. And I've got the scoop on the MCDM RPG. What this game is, a fantasy role-playing game where your character starts at level 1, already a hero, maybe even locally famous. You might meet in a tavern or start in the middle of the action. Whether you're a group of local heroes sent to investigate mysterious goings-on in the nearby haunted wood, or famous mercenaries plotting and scheming in the big city, the MCDM RPG makes building adventures and fighting monsters fun. Basically, any adventure or story you're running in your current fantasy role-playing game, you can do that in this game, just in a more straightforward and fun way, unburdened by the sacred cows from the 1970s. Ouch. What this game is not. You can absolutely run epic games with heroes exploring dungeons, but this game is not about dungeon crawling. You don't have to track torches or rations or worry about running out of light. You can plunge, heedless of danger, into a dark and haunted forest. But this game is not about exploration. There are no hexes to explore. By focusing on the core fantasy of epic heroes fighting monsters and tyranny, we think we can deliver a better experience for your friends and your table. Draw steel. Fighting monsters in this game is a dynamic, action-oriented blast. Heroes and monsters often have abilities that knock their opponents into walls, through doors, and into each other. Every hero has a small array of cool thematic abilities that they can use every round. You gain resources in this game as you play, so battles get more epic as they go. No slog. The game uses 2d6, plus a handful of d4s and d8s. When you attack, you roll 2d6, add one of your attributes, and that's how much damage you do. Your attack roll is your damage roll. You cannot miss. No more wasted turns, no more burning resources on spells only for your target to save. There's negotiation. We love fighting monsters, but there's more to the game than that. Consider NPCs can be negotiated with to get them to change their allegiance or reconsider their actions. Technically, any NPC can be negotiated with, but there's usually only one per adventure. These NPCs have stats like patience and interest. We also plan on rules for research and crafting to let players unlock ancient secrets and build wondrous marvels. We have ideas for how to make language fluency relevant, better rules for wealth and renown. But it's unknown how much of that can be fit into a 400-page rulebook. So what's being funded? two books. First, Heroes, basically the rule book. Approximately 400 pages of rules for making characters, character customization, and advancement. There will be ancestries, classic and new, classes, skills, rules for combat, negotiation, research, and crafting, and more. We really like customizing characters and giving players lots of options. Even two heroes of the same class and ancestry can be very different in this game. And then we have monsters. A monster book. Basically, flea mortals without the villain parties or environments. Most of the monsters in the 5e monster book, plus all the stuff that had to be cut out by MCDM Productions, or no, I think it's publishing, if I remember correctly, and a bunch of other new stuff. You'll also get rules for building balanced or deliberately unbalanced, depending on how much trouble your players have gotten into, encounters. This backer kit launched today, passed $1 million in crowdfunding. Yes, you heard that correctly. $1 million. You can reserve copies of the two core books in hardcover, including PDFs, for a $135 pledge, or you can score those books in PDF for a $65 pledge through January 5th. Expected delivery of the PDFs is spring, summer, right around there, 2025, and the physical books should arrive later that year. Now, having said that, it is expected that the alpha will be shared with backers sometime next year. So you're not going to be sitting around, 18 months or more before you get to see anything for the MCDM RPG. So we've got that. I'm curious. So MCDM is well known for quality products. Now, I will be the first to point out that somehow they decided to start sending me PDFs of some of their releases that have come out. So I have copies of Flea Mortals, and I think it's called Where Evil Lives. But the reality is I've never actually taken a real hard peek at them because I don't do PDF reviews. I haven't reviewed PDFs in years now. And as much as I would like to kind of dive into these books, I know that if I start personally reviewing PDFs, I'm going to be stuck because then everybody's going to want to send just PDFs. They won't want to send, not every company, but a good number of companies. They'll want to send PDFs, not physical books anymore, which makes for very boring videos. So there is a method to my madness. And you might be thinking, well, why haven't you just had Sammy do the reviews? Sammy doesn't really review 5e stuff, which is what those books are. So I know Matt Colville is pretty well respected. I know there are some people out there who dislike him intensely, but I'm pretty sure it's those usual cranks who aren't happy with anything in the hobby or anything that's not what they like in the hobby. So I am curious about this. It does sound as if this might be a bit of a tabletop role-playing game mechanically meets computer role-playing game mechanically. There is a video. It is about an hour long. So that's why I didn't share it, because it's Matt Colville talking about this game and going into some depth about it. I did watch a little bit of the video. And like I said, I kind of get a little bit of a feeling that This is kind of tabletop role-playing game meets computer role-playing game. And that could be a very, very good thing. It does appear to me that this will probably be relatively rules light, especially keeping in mind you're rolling 2 6-sided dice. You're not rolling to hit, you're rolling damage. So I'm kind of curious, does that also mean that the monsters always hit? Or, you know, your opponents always hit? Well. Although I will point out where it was talking about negotiation and there's one NPC per adventure you can negotiate with. That sounds kind of silly. Why wouldn't you just be able to negotiate with just about anything? Right? Why is it? Well, there's only one. There's only one character you can talk to and change their mind in this adventure. That's it. And I will be very honest, the buy-in is rather pricey, seeing that you're looking at $135 for 2 core books. That's not too bad, to be honest. The 2 PDFs being $65, that to me seems a little bit pricey too. But as you can see, pretty solid production quality as far as the artwork and the layout and everything else. So did want to share this with you. A lot of people are excited about it. And I believe this is the 4th time that Matt Colville has cracked $1 million on a crowdfunding project. And I'm pretty damn sure this is the first time that he has done it in a few hours. So there is that. And once again, I think it's MCDM Productions. All right, moving right along. I've got some other crowdfunding news because right now up on Kickstarter is issue number 4 of Gary's Appendix from RPG Ramblings. Here's what I know. They're back. Hot off the heels of issue number 3, we present a new assortment of articles to inspire your games filled with deep dungeons and horrible dragons. For issue number 4, we bring the theme of sword and sorcery to the spotlight. Nothing brings out the holiday spirit as weathered broadswords, wily wizards, and weathered ruins. Inspired by the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide, Gary wrote and collected a vast amount of information, rules, and guidance. Its haphazard nature and perplexing subjects makes it as fresh today as when he penned the work almost 50 years ago. Indeed, Gary's Appendix draws inspiration from the past works of the gaming giants. Gary's Appendix is all about the love for the past and excitement for the future. We don't have the audacity to believe that we can produce a work that matches the magic of the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide. Instead, we seek the spirit of that evergreen work by presenting an array of articles that are enjoyable to read, informative to the game master, and useful at the gaming table. Here's a preview of what you're going to find in this upcoming issue. There's Creating Sword and Sorcery Adventures by Travis Miller, The Forge of the Weapon Master, and Welcome to the Pleasure Dome by David Seamack, Encountering Weather by Zach Goins, Adding Ingredients to Your Game, That Distinct Flavor, and D&D and the Sword and Sorcery Genre by Oliver Brackenbury, as well as The Bestiary by Jeff Jones. In each issue, Jeff works his way through another section of the Old School Essentials Bestiary and explains the information and GM toolkit for each entry. For this issue, he covers the following creatures. There's the Cave Locust, the Chimera, the Giant Crab, the Cyclops, the Dervish. Is it the Whirving Dervish? Yeah, I guess it is. The Doppelganger, the Dragon Turtle, and the Dryad. You can score the physical copy of issue 4 of Gary's Appendix, including the PDF, for a pledge of $16, or you can snag just the PDF for a pledge of only $3 through December 15th. Expected delivery on the physical and digital products is next July. Now, I know I shared a news piece for issue 3. It was either issue 3 or issue 2 a while back. This looks pretty interesting. This looks pretty interesting as far as in OSE, or I guess we could just say retro clone, fantasy retro clone sort of zine. So kind of cool. Kind of cool. Kathy Evans is joining us in chat. So the madman had pointed out when I was talking about the MCDM RPG. What? Negotiation? No murder hobos? Well, you only get to negotiate with one NPC, so I guess you can murder hobo everybody else. My final news piece. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound Blackened Earth is now available in print and PDF from my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Here's the dope. Greywater Fastness is under siege. The vast industrial city dedicated to producing weapons and arms for Sigmar's armies now finds itself teetering on the brink of oblivion. A tide of power-hungry Skaven covet Greywater's technology. The neighboring Selanith sing a song of revenge for the lands polluted by the city's toxic runoff. And within the city itself, allies and enemies alike stroke the self-destructive flames of war. But if Greywater Fastness falls, Sigmar's armies across the realms fall with it. Strike out into the forge-hot streets of Greywater Fastness in this brand new campaign for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound. Blackened Earth is a thrilling 5-part campaign set within the free city of Greywater Fastness in Giran, the realm of life. Here the Soulbound are tasked with steering this vital city of Sigmar away from its path of destruction. With monsters gnawing at the gates, allies turning into enemies, and warmongers fighting for dominance in the city, the Soulbound must use everything at their disposal to save the doomed city from immolation in the fires of war. This book contains an epic campaign told across 5 thrilling adventures. Walk the streets of one of Sigmar's most industrialized cities, then strike out into the blasted wastelands and vibrant wilds of the realm of life. There's a comprehensive guide to the city of Greywater Fastness. Discover its history and how it was founded. Explore over 70 unique and strange locations and learn about the major players in the city. There's also a beautifully illustrated map of Greywater Fastness, new items to purchase in the city's black markets, and new endeavors to undertake while in the city. Plus, terrifying new monsters and allied NPCs for your binding to encounter. The 160-page hardcover, including PDF if you order from Cubicle 7 Entertainment or one of their bit and mortar partners, carries an MSRP of $39.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at Drive-Thru RPG for $19.99. Pretty sweet. Nice to see some more Soulbound releases from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. It's kind of been, I don't want to say neglected, because there had been some issues with the new printer that they're actually using, Cubicle 7 Entertainment is using, because I think they're in Germany, the printer they're using now. But there were some hiccups, so there were some delays, and of course, COVID didn't help. So I know we've got 2 relatively recent releases. Now, this has been out in PDF for a while. I think this has been out in PDF for over a year. So good to see that the print edition is now arriving in stores. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, Storytellers Vault, Wargame Vault, what have you, any of the One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com. First, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do go a long, long way to keeping thegaminggang.com around. Of course, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop on by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. Yes, that's right. You could always give me a 2-liter bottle of soda. And thankfully, there are quite a lot of you out there who do utilize the banner ads and or stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang. So thank you very kindly. Big tip of the cap to everyone out there who does. Also want to mention, if you happen to make a donation to the laptop fund recently, be sure to send me an email at jeffmclear@thegaminggang.com. I got some goodies for you. And there are some folks in chat who can attest to those goodies being pretty good. So they're called goodies. Although I will say, if you are not into role-playing games, goodies aren't that good. But you may have friends who are. Flaming Aaron says, speaking of Warhammer releases, although it's not actually a tabletop game, they released Rogue Trader on PC. Yes, that came out today. And I am very, very interested in checking it out. But, got a little caveat there. As the Madman says, very nice goodies. I wouldn't pick it up this moment because I'm familiar with Owlcat Games because they did the 2 Pathfinder role-playing games, Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous. Both really good, don't get me wrong. Okay, they're not Baldur's Gate 3, but then again, only Baldur's Gate 3 is Baldur's Gate 3. But I have found from my past experience, there's going to be some bugs that will need to be ironed out. So I would say I will probably look to pick up Rogue Trader in about a month or two, thereabouts. Now, I can say that Owlcat Games has a very nice record of releasing updates. In fact, it wasn't that long ago they just updated Wrath of the Righteous again. So that is a good thing. So they aren't a company that's like, oh, yeah, we released it. And then it's like, oh, okay, here's a patch. And then we're done. Flaming Heron also points out, might even find you get it cheaper later on. Possibly. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It looks pretty cool. I watched some trailers for it. So yes, I am quite interested in picking that up. I haven't finished Baldur's Gate 3 though. So I would like to actually finish that up. And funny enough, after the newest patch came out where you actually had to download, well, you didn't have to, but they recommended just download the whole game over again, all 100+ gigs. I started a new campaign. I know, I'm just a glutton for punishment. I thought I'm going to play something different. So I'm multi-classing. So I'm multi-classing Bard and Paladin. And I never play Bards. So I was like, okay. I'll give that a shot. All righty then. So, only one thing I wanted to talk about tonight, and then we are going to get into our first look at Age of Wonders Planetfall. And this will be relatively quick. So, I believe what I am going to do is, for one, the 100th show, the 100th live show, not 100, 1000th. I just noticed, well, when Melwinius from York just popped on in. Good to see you, Mel. They also point out that they're waiting for that physical release of Baldur's Gate 3, which is supposed to be coming out early next year. Looks kind of interesting. Looks like there's some cool goodies to it. That's for sure. Anyway, I was going to say it again, 100th. The 1000th live show is going to be, what is it? Let me take a quick peek here. Tuesday the 19th. So I will actually be taking December 20th through New Year's Day off. So that week, I will only have one show. It will be on the 19th. And that just happens to be the 1000th, not 100th, live stream. So there is that. I am also, when I return with live stream 1001, on January 2nd, I am only going to do news. So the Gaming Gang Dispatch will be a news program beginning in January for a few reasons. Number one is that I just don't get enough views on this. And a lot of work goes into this. You may not believe it. First, often things get screwed up, but I do invest a good amount of time into putting together the shows. And of course, the equipment and everything else. And I like doing the shows. But it's to the point where, every once in a while we'll crack 500, 600 views, usually on role-playing game releases. The board game viewers have, well, I mean, I don't know if they were always here anyway, but and I know the wargaming crowd really doesn't tune in too often anymore, unless I'm, sharing a Wargame Wednesday. But for the most part, these shows pull in 150 to 300 views. And I do understand that there are quite a few people out there who, they only want a first look. They only want a review. Granted, I don't do reviews too often here on the live show. But they don't want the news portion, even though the timestamps are there. I talk about the timestamps. They're in the timeline of the video on almost everything you would watch this video on, but still. So, anywho, I understand those people out there, and I see where they're coming from, because you got to realize a lot of people out there, and I'm not just saying younger people, it's just everybody now. Now, thankfully, I can sit through a 2-hour video, and as long as it's keeping my interest, I'm fine. I'm not one of these people where it's like, oh, I've been watching this for 2 minutes. I gotta watch something else. I'm so bored. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to split them up. Kevin King is with us in chat asking, so how do we make Jeff feel guilty for not giving us more quality content for free. Well, here's the funny thing. You actually are kind of going to get more quality content for free. Because I didn't say I'm not going to do first look videos. I'm just not going to do them on the live show. So that's where I'm kind of kicking around a few different things. So obviously enough, the first look videos will be separate. I'm thinking about maybe doing some sort of a membership thing where you get to see the first look videos like a week before they go public or something like that. So Flaming Heron says, I figure it's 3 streams a week. I can afford to give you 6 hours of my life a week. Thank you very much. I'll take a pint of blood with that too. So yeah, I'm still going to do 3 live streams a week. And I will probably bump up the number of news pieces to 5, which I used to do anyway. And then I'll wrap up the show talking about what might be going on in the tabletop gaming world at large. So we'll still have that. You'll still catch a rant here and there on occasion. So the show could maybe run 45 minutes, hour, something like that. So anyway, so I want to let everyone know about that. Flaming Heron says they'd happily support me by a membership. So, well, the membership's going to cost money. So I got to tell you that. Because that's, I don't know if I would do it through YouTube or what. Because I can password protect videos if I want to. And as we know, YouTube takes a big chunk. I mean, far bigger than like PayPal or anything like that. Fleming Heron says, I knew that. I know, I'm just teasing. Man says they can guarantee they take advantage of that membership a lot more than a membership to a fitness club. Don't say that. Go out there and exercise. Yeah. This shows you how often I exercise. When I'm doing that, like, yeah, I'm pantomiming exercising. What the hell is that? Yeah. Well, that's a machine that I use. I don't know if everybody else uses that sort of an elliptical or anything like that, but I mean that's what I do with the. Yeah. No, that's not it. Anyway, like I said, just kind of bouncing it around. And the membership won't be anything crazy. Probably be like $3 a month or something like that. But the funny thing is, that also gives me the opportunity to do contests for members only and give away members only jackets. Duh! I had one of those in high school. In fact, all of my friends and I had them in high school. Mine was black. Elliot had a gray one, and I think he had a black one too. He had 2. So, anyway, the big thing is just the stream is going to become news only. We might find viewership actually increase. I don't know. Viewership might drop too. Once again, I don't know. I'm not expecting a huge change. It's just, I do believe that the first look videos would actually get more views if they were standalone videos, as opposed to being part of this live show. As much as I enjoy doing the live show, I like doing the first looks live. Might do that for members too. Not all of them, but maybe some. Once or twice a month, do a live stream where it's a first look. Don't know. Like I said, just kicking it around. It's not necessarily like I'm looking to raise money. That's not it. but I am trying to grow the channel because I don't know. And yes, I get it. There's every 24 hours, the videos on the channel get about 1,000 views, which I mean, that's not terrible. It's not fabulous or anything like that. But I mean, it's okay. But you also have to realize there's over 1,600 videos on this channel. So that basically means that the videos are averaging less than a view a day. If you take them all into account. Anyway, I just want to let you know. I mean, it's not a huge deal. Not a huge deal at all. Last thing I want to mention, this will be real quick, is I understand from the emails that I've gotten, the Paizo products are on the way. So they have shipped. So my question becomes, I'm going to leave it up to you in chat. And if you watch the show after the stream ends, by all means, please comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Would you rather see the week devoted to Paizo products, including the 2 new remastered core books? Or would you like me to do an Everyday Heroes week, which was what I already had planned? So I'm going to leave the ball in your court. So you let me know which you would prefer to see, because it does look as if I will have those by Tuesday. So we should see. Jack Hanks says, I've enjoyed your first look videos. I do think you would receive more views if they were separate. Says I do an excellent job. Well, thank you. I try to, well, I would say, as far as my approach with any of the videos, doesn't matter if it's live or if it's something that I record and upload. My approach is I'm a gamer like all of you, or most of you, because I do know there are people who aren't gamers who watch this just to hang out. But that's always my approach. And I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, I'm the expert. Oh, I'm an expert on all these things. Never. And funny enough, Kevin King says, I could leverage my 4+ decades of experience, give DMing tips. There's a viewership out there for that. It's almost entirely 5e though. You know, I did start a video series on how to be a better game master, and I think the first video did all right, but it wasn't 5e related. And the thing is, my relationship with Wizards of the Coast is in kind of limbo right now anyway. So I don't mind sharing a news piece here and there about Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, something that's, third-party 5e. But the reality is I haven't run that much Dungeons and Dragons where I would feel comfortable talking about how people could run D&D. And not to go on a rant, but there are a whole lot of people out there doing 5e DM tip videos who are pretty obviously not running Dungeons and Dragons either. But when I say they're not running Dungeons and Dragons, I also mean they're not running any role-playing games. As someone who's been running role-playing games for decades, I can smell a phony a mile away. Okay, so Kevin King says, don't know anything about Everyday Heroes. I do like Pathfinder and Starfinder. Guess that's going to be a vote for Paizo. Madman says, as much as they'd like to see the Paizo products, well, regardless, you will. They own them, so yes, you have seen them. So they're interested in seeing Everyday Heroes. Flaming Heron says, speaking of Paizo, there's a bundle on Humble Bundle. Yes, I caught that. Actually, I think it launched after I had today's news done. I am going to share a news piece on the website for it tomorrow, but it is, I think it's $460 plus of Pathfinder and Starfinder PDFs for like 5% of that. So it must be another like $25, get everything for $25 sort of things. Jack Hank says Everyday Heroes. All right, cool. So we'll do Everyday Heroes. Unless the comments in the comment section, which I don't know if I'll get any anyway, might skew Pathfinder, but looks like chat is saying they'd like to see Everyday Heroes. Well, you will find out next week. That is for certain. All right, so we're going to be diving on into Age of Wonders Planetfall in just a couple of moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
Hi, how are you again?
I have some last-minute gift problems.
Don't worry. Hickory Farms has over 100 gift packs. Gifts with mild cheddar cheese, smoky bar cheese. We are the super cheese market.
Yes, but
and Hickory Farms specialties like beef stick and sweet hot mustard.
Oh, look, I'll just put myself in your hands.
Okay, let's see. It's 14 elves.
Mm-hmm.
How many reindeer?
Well, there's Dasher, Dancer, and Prancer.
Got a Christmas story to tell, and you really want to tell it well. Get it, don't forget it, on Kodak Film. You'll feel better when you say I got it.
Every picture tells a story. Capture the color of Christmas this year on fresh Kodak film.
I got it!
I gotta say I got it.
I got it!
Kodak wishes you some merry, merry pictures.
That's $65 for a cup of Wilkins coffee?
$65?
You want me to go in there looking like a bum?
It's the Action Kids. What in the world are they up to now?
Let's get right down to business.
Business? What business?
Fun business!
The Fun Pack Carry-All Action Playset by Marx. Look, this opens up the wild action world of Fort Apache. With Indians, cavalrymen, shell-shooting cannons. And here are the fighting knights, with a real drawbridge, knights, Vikings, and rock-throwing catapults. Here's the boot camp, with tank, jeep, bullet-shooting machine guns, and 80 soldiers. Or land a helicopter at Cape Kennedy. Fire the rockets, back the space missile into the launching pad, and start the countdown. It's off into space. Zoom! Get Fort Apache, get the Fighting Knights, get the Boot Camp, get Cape Kennedy, get all four, and carry your own world of action wherever you go. The Rugged Steel Carry-All Action Playsets by Marx.
What, you want me going in there looking like a bum? That is one of my absolute favorite Wilkins Coffee commercials. Although that is an old gag. That is an old joke. That was not new with that commercial. But still. And yes, Flaming Heron says, somebody's going to be losing an eye with those Marx play sets. Madman says they had the Fort Apache set. I remember as a little kid, somebody I knew had the knights because I remember the castle walls. Kevin King says their money is on the 60s era military set. Don't think the Knights stand a chance. Probably not. Probably not. Alrighty then. So tonight we're going to dive on in and take a first look at Age of Wonders Planetfall from Arcane Wonders and Hobby World. This is designed by Stepan Opolev with art and graphic design provided by Yarian Bolitsky and Yuldrim. The game is for 2 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 20 to 40 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $44.99. And I will apologize, I guarantee I've mispronounced all 3 of those names. That would be what I would bet on. Odds are in favor of that. Let's swing it over to the other camera because here I've got Age of Wonders Planetfall. A few things I want to mention before we dive on in. First of all, the fine folks over at Arcane Wonders were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And these days, it's very, very important that you know that. All right, let's get this shrink wrap off. Also, I do believe that this is card-based. So we aren't going to look at each and every card, but we'll get a good feel for this game. The game box itself is relatively light. The heyday of the Star Union has come to an end, setting off massive gravity bombs designed to create spatial rifts to new worlds led to the collapse, and many planets were cut off from the rest of the Empire. The surviving factions began gradually rebuilding civilization and rediscovering lost technology. Being once part of a single state, they will have to meet again and find out who is worthy of succeeding the great power. Age of Wonders Planetfall is an exciting card strategy based. Wouldn't it be game? Did they forget to put the word game in there? It says Age of Wonders Planetfall is an exciting card strategy based on the world-renowned video game. I think they forgot to say game. It's just by impression. You're going to lead one of the 6 surviving groups and explore the once abandoned center of the Star Union. You'll set a new order by exploring 7 planets in search of valuable resources and technology, battling hostile units, seizing landmarks, and looking for long-lost pickups. But remember that your rivals are aiming for the same things. Will your fame overshadow their achievements? Kevin King says, I wonder why this show does not get more traction. I listen to quite a bit of gaming content while coding during the day, and Jeff's news section is the best. Well, thank you. Perhaps once its own show. Well, you got to realize a few things. One, I'm old. So a lot of younger gamers, they don't want to watch some old dude. And I'm not an especially handsome old dude. I don't have a radio voice. I got a radio face, but I don't have a radio voice. And I tend to go off on tangents. So I know back in the day, I used to get complaints from people who don't like the stream of consciousness. They want whatever I do to just be scripted and that's it. And that's not how I am. I don't even do reviews like that. I don't script reviews. So I'm certainly not going to try to script a live show. Let's zoom in a little bit. Seeing that I've got the zoom lens on this. So I already read this off of the back. So we've got an operations board, 6 double-sided commander sheets, 8 goal sheets, 1 restrain token. So you have various different tokens, 98 planet cards, 7 planet decks, 14 cards each. So we have 28 unit cards, 21 technology cards, 21 landmark cards, and 28 pickup cards. What, for picking up women? Dope. So Madman says, you're younger than I am, Jeff. Well, I that's what I meant, though. I mean, the viewership for, I think, the entire channel tends to skew, maybe not necessarily age-wise, but at least mentality-wise, a little bit more mature. I'm not saying everybody, I'm not saying that we don't have younger gamers who watch this, but I think the viewership does tend to be to skew a little bit older. So we got 30 wooden pieces and the game rules, which are what we're looking at right here. The game's played over 7 rounds, and a new planet is explored each round. Each player may conduct 2 explorations on every planet. The players will gain empire points by defeating units, studying technology, claiming landmarks, and running operations on those planets. At the end of the game, players will score empire points for meeting certain conditions listed on a particular goal sheet. Whoever scores the most empire points is the winner. So here we're seeing the setup. So this is our operations board. No. This is the operations board. So this is where it looks like we're gonna lay out cards on it. And then we have goal sheets, which are gonna be assigned randomly face up. They're gonna have 3 endgame conditions for scoring those empire points. So you're gonna sort the planet cards into 7 decks according to the numbers on their backs. They're gonna get placed up there. Starting from the youngest player and going clockwise. Each player picks 1 commander sheet. I believe these are our commanders here. So you get a color and a ship and 4 markers of their chosen color. And our commanders have stats such as experience, strength, energy, and empire points. Oh, so we're going to track our empire points on the commander sheet, it looks like. So Kev Kick says, what's he saying? Maybe my beard is prematurely white and I have a mysterious affection for Space 1999. Because Kevin King was also pointing out how they collected Space 1999 toys or played with them as a kid. You know, that was a show I never could get into. I think I watched a few minutes of it here and there, but when that was on, I was, 10? Maybe? 10 or 11, and it wasn't Star Wars, baby. So it's like, the hell is that? I'm not watching that. Okay, so we have 7 rounds. Every round, there's that new planet to explore. And each round consists of 5 phases. Discovery, income, exploration, part 1. Exploration, part 2, and migration. Take the deck of planet cards with the current round number on their backs. So I guess you're going to explore these planets in the same order every game. Depending on the number of players, reveal the number of cards listed in the chart below. So we have level 1, level 2, and level 3. So with 2 or 3 players, 4 to 6 players. The level that the card is on impacts its cost or reward, depending on its type. It's probably on our operations board here. Each planet deck consists of 14 cards. Each card type is marked by a symbol in its upper left corner. Units, technology, landmarks, and the pickups. Then we have income. Gain income for every annexed sector if you have any. So I'm taking a guess that these cards are going to go in front of you once you've acquired them. Maybe there's a tableau building aspect to this. So here's our exploration. Starting from the topmost ship on the one slot of the turn order track to the bottom, each player takes their turn. They choose one of the available planet cards or an operations slot in the operations board and place their ship on it. When all players have taken their turns, they resolve the corresponding actions: fighting units, studying technology, claiming landmarks, searching for pickups, and running operations. Those actions are resolved in order of the player's ships from left to right, from top to bottom. All level 1 cards and slots are resolved first, then level 2, and finally level 3. So there will be a change in the cost and the rewards for each of the cards that come from the planet deck, but you're going to be using the same planets in the same order as far as each round. You may only choose a planet card or an operation slot that hasn't been occupied yet, meaning there's no ship on it. You may not choose a card you cannot pay for. You must have enough. What's that symbol mean? I don't think they're empire points. Strength. Or energy points. Pickup cards and operation slots don't have a cost, so they may be chosen at any time when they're not occupied. When you resolve an action from a planet card or an operation slot, remove your ship from it, place your ship on the topmost unoccupied slot of the turn order track. Thus, the players who occupied level 1 cards will take their turn before those who occupied level 2 or level 3 in the next phase. Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. So the madman says, it's not gray, it's Santa Claus white. At least that's what he tells his family about his goatee. All right, so exploration part 2. Repeat the previous phase with the new turn order. Each player takes a turn according to their position in the turn order track by placing their ship on an available remaining planet card or operation slot. Okay, so you're going to repeat that. So you're going to have the same exploration phase twice. So we have 5 types of actions: fighting a unit, claiming a landmark, studying a technology, searching for a pickup, and running operations. Then we have migration. Put all of the unclaimed cards of the current planet back in the box. Operation slots stay in the game until the end. So we have fighting a unit. So you can defeat it or recruit it if there's a diplomacy effect. So you spend as much strength as listed on the left part of the unit card. Cost depends on the card's level. So here it is right here. This has a diplomacy effect. And then this is our reward. I wonder if you only get to choose one. Once you defeat a unit, you immediately gain the number of empire points, energy, and whatever that marker is. It's an upward arrow. Don't know. Did not see that in the rules so far. Maybe I think it's a commander thing. Experience. There we go. That's what that is. So I guess you get all of it. So everything that's in here. So this will be 5 empire points. This looks like this is a choice, either or. And then 1 experience. It's talking about diplomacy, claiming a landmark. I think you're just paying for it with energy. So you're using energy to get the landmarks as opposed to strength for the units or diplomacy. So then we have studying technology. That also costs energy. So landmarks and technology cost energy, and defeating units costs strength. So it appears that some of the cards might have an end scoring on them. So we have searching for a pickup. So you're looking for a hidden supply from a long lost civilization. So we also have annexing sectors, running operations. So we have different operations, or it's just you're running operations. Says when running operations, you gain the number of operation points listed in the slot, which depends on the level of the chosen slot. You need to immediately trade to gain points for empire points, strength, or experience points in any combination. Anything left over is lost. So it's one for one for the empire points, 1 for 1 for energy. I'm sorry, I should say strength. And then 2 for 1 for experience. So we get an example of the turn, and then the games end. Game ends right after the 4th phase of the 7th round, and the players score their empire points for meeting the conditions on the current goal sheet. Whoever's got the most empire points wins. In the case of a tie, tied player with the ship located higher on the turn order track is the winner. So there's no way for there to be another tie. Okay, so pretty simple as far as the rules go. Let's see what we've got here. So this is the operations board right here. So level 1, level 2, and level 3, and it looks like we've got 2 spots here. I don't know if these correspond. They might. Because here it's 5 operation points. No, this is just a breakdown once again, where it's telling us, okay, 1 operation point can equal an empire point and so on. So it appears that you would have 2 level 1, 2 level 2, 2 level 3 for players to place their ships. Looks like here are our commanders. You're in our Delhi. And these are dual-sided. Just looking to see if they look identical, really. So Claudius Proton. These are different factions. Jakuku Kosrex. Berhane Ketla. Yuri Frankov. And Jack Gelder, who is our cover hero for the both this board game and the computer game. So there's a nice insert to it. Here's our deck of cards. We're going to look at those last. These are those optional, I shouldn't say optional. These are those win condition cards that you get randomly. So as an example, gain 2 Empire points for every 2 cards from the same planet and of the same type. Gain 5 Empire points for each set of 5 cards of the same type. Gain 1 Empire point for each of the 2 energy that you have left. So just a few of those. I like the fact that we've got unique artwork on each of those. Got a couple of baggies. These are the Empire points plus 100 plus 50. And this is the restraint token. And we've got some cubes and we've got the ships. And the ships are all different shapes. That's cool. We are the bug. The cube there. And then that looks suspiciously like the Rebel Alliance symbol. Kevin King says the StarCraft crowd would probably like this. Well, I could certainly say the Euro-style gamers out there should like this. All right, so then we've got those cubes too. Here is that insert I was talking about. Pretty nice full color insert there. Might as well put these in a baggie. Then we'll take a look at the cards. William Aarons is with us. Good to see you, William. Saying hello from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. We have a few Canadians who watch the show. Okay, so I will zoom in all the way, which also means I have to adjust the ISO a little bit. All right, come on. There we go, that's better. Okay. Yeah, I say it all the time when I use this zoom lens. I don't like how the ISO changes. Okay, so this is the 7th planet, 6th planet, 5th planet, and we know there's 14 cards for each. So we'll just look at a few of the planets. We're not going to look at all 7. That's the 3rd. Here's the 2nd. Okay. So here, this would be the 1st planet. That's a tech card. Deep infiltration. Primal control. So this is the cost in energy. If it's on level 1, it costs 5, level 2, 4, level 3, 4. food development, metamorphosis, superior engineering, technological supremacy. So we got troopers, frenzied, chrysalis, psycho. I like the artwork throughout so far. Pretty nice. These are the landmarks. Synumbra Sanctorum, Synthesis, or I should say Synthesis Network, Xenolife Institute, and then these are the pickups for supplies, and they are different depending on what level they're on. So what goodies you get. And then we've got energy development, unshackling, and protective grounding. And as we see, there is some text on the card. So there is a little bit of tableau building here. So here it shows all landmark cards cost you 1 less energy. Each time you collect a pair of identical landmark cards, gain 1 energy. And I believe that is your energy output. So here we've got all unit cards cost you 1 less strength. That's kind of weird. I don't know why it's upside down, but so is that one. So I would take a guess that you would be looking at something along these lines. So let's say we have a 6-player game. So you're only going to get 2 cards from each planet. So that's what that would look like. Now, how you would put these together, I don't know if it's something along the lines of, because remember, here's your card. It's going to be something like this. Where you're going to line the cards up here, because it looks like we've got slots for 3 cards that would go into somehow into these. I don't know. I am intrigued. It looks like this would be very, very simple to play. All right, let's take a look at, we'll take a look at Planet 5. So unit here, Prospector, Barrager, the Star Guide, Imperial Buggy. Then we got our landmarks. Oh, same landmarks. That's where we get the matching landmarks. But I believe the artwork is different on these. We got the pickups. The artwork on the pickups varies. Some of it is repeated. Then we have predator conditioning, adaptive systems. Was that all 14? No, it's 13. But interestingly enough, I was kind of curious about this. So here's 4 units. All right. Where are you, number 5? Number 5 is alive. Must be here. No? Okay, so it's not there. It's not over here, I don't think. Ah, there it is. Why do we... That's bizarre. We have, like so, these must have been added like last minute or something to the deck. Here's the other card. So we've got 3 technologies, 4 units, 3 landmarks, and then 4 pickup cards. And those get dealt out onto, oh, look at this. Not liking that. Well, the reality is it shouldn't be folding like that. They should have just cut it. Just put the 2 pieces together, done a jigsaw for it. Yeah, see, look at that. It's just, you know what? You saw it here first, gang. Yeah, that looks really shitty. I'm going to use my hobby knife. I'm just going to cut this apart and try to glue that piece back onto there. There. End up doing that. You know, it's just, otherwise it's going to tear that all the way off. I mean, look. So what happens, it's a live show. It's a live show, folks. Other thing I'm looking for is where's our board? It's not that, is it? Oh, it is. Okay, I get it. I was like, wait a second, what the hell's going on? So you do this. The cards get dealt like so. And then another, I guess you could do something like this. Once you shuffled them up, of course. So you get 4 up here, 3 on this row here, and then 2 on the bottom. All right, there we go. That was throwing me off a little bit. Okay, so we've got the various different planet cards. Pop those right on in there. We've got the different cubes as far as our markers. We've got our ships. We have the little tokens there, plus 50, plus 100 for the Empire points. We've got our commander boards. We've got our operation board, rule book, and some baggies. And that's what we find with Age of Wonders Planetfall, when we take everything outside the box. Kevin King says, somewhere a game designer is screaming that lack of quality control is going to kill his game. Yeah, it's never a good thing when you see something like that. Just like, gosh, I can't remember the game. This is years ago that I did an unboxing. It was not live. It was an unboxing video, but you know, I really don't edit much. But it was an unboxing video, and I'm going through all the pieces and stuff, and it was supposed to have miniatures in it, and there were no miniatures. I was like, oh boy. And it was a review copy that I had been given. It's either at Origins or Gen Con. And I was like, wow. No minis, huh? Ooh. Yeah, that did not go over too well. All right, once again, this is Age of Wonders Planetfall from Arcane Wonders and Hobby World. It is available now. It is for 2 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 20 to 40 minutes, and carries an MSRP of $44.99. I got to admit that operations board, it's not that big a deal. So I grab a little bit of, little bit of glue and you're all good to go. So what? But I did cut it apart because otherwise it looked like it would just keep tearing that backing further and further off. Anyway, I'll have a review of this in the near future. Excellent. All righty then. So that is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition from Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Next week, so far it is looking like it'll be Everyday Heroes Week, which will mean I will do standalone first look videos of the Pathfinder books because I don't want to, sit around on those remastered books because I'm interested in learning more about them, and I've been sitting here waiting for those physical books to arrive. So they are in transit, as well as 6 other Pathfinder and Starfighter items too. So there will be more coverage of those as well. But as of right now, it is looking like it is going to be Everyday Heroes. I know it was skewing that way in the comments, I should say in chat. But if you are watching this after the stream has ended and you throw your hat in the ring, either Pathfinder Remastered or Everyday Heroes Week, you let me know in the comments section. All righty. So if you were watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, tip of the cap to you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're keeping each other company as I'm unboxing a board game or paging through an RPG book. Of course, I know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the YouTube channel. I will be back next week. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. And of course, like I said, I'll be back on Tuesday, even deeper into the holiday season. And here's hoping all of you out there always get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.